Before I begin, I do want to inform you that I go hard and real with what I'm about to say on this episode. If you cannot handle the truth, my sense of humor, sarcasm, and explicit language, then I advise you to not listen. This episode will contain words that may be triggering and may have graphic details, so listen per your description. Without further ado, sit back and enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of yours truly. It is I, your one and only host, Druelee, of course. I know it's been a couple weeks now since I've uploaded my last episode, and I do want to say that I am very busy, okay? I'm very busy. Just last week, my family, we finally have a new sister-in-law. So in my culture, we address our sister-in-law as Nya, and I am pretty sure you guys have heard me talk about this term a lot, and eventually throughout my podcast, I will be mentioning a lot about what it's like to be a Nya and what we go through and all that stuff. But I do want to congratulate my baby brother for, bringing his girlfriend, now our sister-in-law, home, and she is our first in the family, and of course he is our baby brother. So yes, really really sad, but at the same time very happy for them. And then it just got me thinking about my experience from like dating to getting married and actually going through like the marriage process and all that stuff. And you guys, it is very confusing, just because, especially the fact that my family, we didn't grow up very traditional. Like, we didn't grow up surrounded by our Hmong culture that often, or we just don't know too much about it. And because we grew up believing in God and going to church, we didn't practice any shamanism, and we just weren't really ingrained in our Hmong culture as some people out there. And when it comes to weddings, we don't know jack shit, nothing, okay? Like, even when it came to my wedding, my Hmong wedding, I did not know what was going on. And for the most part, a lot of our elders, our parents, are the one that does plan the whole thing, and while us kids and our cousins and people who are just on the background, we're just there just to help prepare the food and prepare for the wedding and all that stuff. So it is a learning curve for especially us kids nowadays, especially in my generation, where we don't really know what goes on when it comes to Hmong weddings. And there is some questions that my brother had, and even questions that I had when I was getting married too. I know that in previous episode I did mention and I did talk about my wedding and how it went. I don't know if I went in depth with that, but maybe if you guys want to listen to it from the beginning of my podcast, you guys will have an idea of what I went through. But I do have to say that my wedding was not the typical proper way of having a wedding. So just a little backstory from what I know. And again, I'm not a professional Hmong culture knowledge person, whatever you want to call that. But I don't really know too much about it, but I know from what I've heard from people, from my experience from myself and my sisters from getting married. My brother was the first one out of my family to actually get married from my side of the family, from the men's side, okay? So I have an older sister that got married, and I had a younger sister that got married, and then of course me, and then I'm the last. Or in the past, I was the last one from my family to get married, and then now my younger brother is getting married, so he's the first male in our family to get married. So it's a little bit different. Me and my siblings, we're just trying to help him, figure out how to do things properly, quote unquote properly, because our parents, they don't teach us, or maybe they don't know, I don't know. But it would be nice to just have some kind of like a course or a booklet that will teach us young Hmong people to read, so that we understand what's going on, and that we know that we're doing it properly. I know nowadays not a lot of younger generations want to learn about our Hmong culture anymore, and so it's kind of like, well, if you don't know your culture, then you don't really know what's going on. And then when you do want to get divorced, and how do you go about with that too? It's like you also have to learn about that as well. So I don't know, like it's just a lot of stuff that we Gen Zs and millennials need to learn about, because sooner or later our elders who have those Hmong culture knowledge won't be there to actually teach it. I don't know. It'll be a lot helpful if we have those knowledge, and if that our parents actually ingrained us with those information. But going back to what I was trying to tell you guys about my experience, my wedding wasn't your typical Hmong wedding. It's because in the Hmong wedding, you're supposed to have a minkong, which is he was like the lead of a man who leads the whole entire wedding. Then you're supposed to have pila, which is the groomsman of the groom, and then tanjoa, which is the green lady, or the I call it the bodyguard for the bride. And for my wedding, I didn't have that. I didn't have the groomsman. I didn't have the green lady. I just had the minkong, and that was it. And I honestly have to say, maybe because I didn't do my wedding in the proper Hmong way, that's probably why I got divorced. I don't know, like bad luck voodoo. I don't know. I don't know. But like I mentioned in my previous episode, even my aunt and my grandma didn't like how my wedding was planned out. And, I do have to say, because my dad was being cheap. He was being cheap, and he didn't want to make it so hard on both of the family, that he decided to make it easier by just doing the easy route. So, and at that time, I didn't really care about how my wedding was, but now that I'm a lot older, I realized that, I do care. I do want to have a good Hmong wedding. And if I were to go back in time, I would definitely be stern about it and let my dad know that, hey, this is what I want. But then again, you have to understand that in order to have your wedding, a proper wedding, you don't really have a say in it, especially when you want to do your wedding in the Hmong way. Because if you're not the one coughing off money, because again, when you get married to a Hmong woman, you have to pay for a dowry. A dowry is like you can say like a fee or some kind of payment or some kind of money that you're supposed to give to the bride's family to tell them that, out of respect, you are taking their daughter to start a life with. And in order for her parents or her family to see that you are serious and you respect her, then you have to pay them money up front. And so, again, I can go in depth with the Hmong culture, wedding and all stuff, but on this episode, it's not all about that, okay? I can express more and go into details on that on a later episode. This episode, based on the title, it says, "Before I Say I Do." These are the things that I've learned, or what I should have learned before I said I do, or before I even got married. I just want to share with you guys what I will say before I say I do to getting married again. These are the things that I would want to tell myself. So I have 4 things. And again, it might be some more later on, but these are the 4 that I came up with. The first one that I will tell myself before I say I do is, do I understand the true meaning of love? So I had to look it up on the dictionary. It's either you can look it up in dictionary or online, whatever floats your boat, whatever you have access to. But online, it says that love is a profoundly tender, passionate affection for another person, a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection as for a parent, child, or friend, sexual passion, or desire. And if you were to use love in a verb, to be loved or loving, is to have a profoundly tender, passionate affections for another person, being in love. So that is the definition of love if you were to look at that on the dictionary. Now, another way that I will see love, or how I understand the true meaning of love, is if you believe in God and if you read your Bible. Not everybody believes in God, not everybody reads the Bible, but if you do, my most favorite Bible verse out of any verses that is on the Bible is 1 Corinthians 13 verse 4 and 8. And this is on the New International Version Bible, and it says that love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So I really, really love this Bible verse because this is the true definition of love. And when you think about it, you know, what I like to do is I like to replace the love word to either my name or to the person that I'm dating. So for example, the first line says love is patient, right? So if you were to replace love for your name, for example, like Drew is patient. Drew is kind. Drew does not envy. Drew does not boast. Drew is not proud. Drew does not dishonor others. Drew is not self-seeking, and so forth, right? So I want to be that kind of love for my next partner. And in order to be that kind of love, this Bible verse, it clearly states it well enough to know what true love really means. And if you're dating a guy or woman, it doesn't matter who it is, but let's say if I'm dating a guy named, I don't know, let's say John, okay? If I am dating John, I would replace love with John, and I would say to myself, is John patient? Is he kind? Does he not envy? Does he not boast? Is he not proud? Does he not dishonor others? Is he not self-seeking? Is he not easily angered? Does he keep no records of wrong? Does he not delight in evil but rejoice with the truth? Does he protect? Does he trust? Does he hope? Does he preserve? Is he a person that would never fail on anything that he does? Like, I will replace love on the person that I am in a relationship with. So if he or she is all of that, then it's good to go, okay? I just try my best to be that kind of person. That 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4-8. And I have to remind myself daily that this is the person that I want to be, and I want to attract the same person as well. If he's not the kind of person for me, then he's just not it. You have to understand what love truly is. When you love someone, you don't want to do things that will intentionally hurt them because you don't hurt yourself. You also cannot be selfish anymore. I get when people say that, you have to take care of yourself, put yourself first. Yes, that's true. However, when you're in a relationship with someone, it's not about you anymore. It's about the both of you guys. It's more about that person. And in return, once you give to that person will give back to you. And let's say that you're the type of person that keeps giving while the other person keeps taking majority of the time, then that's a sign that the relationship is not going to go anywhere, and you're going to be the one that's going to have the end of the stick. So just know that when you enter into a relationship with another person, you cannot be selfish. Also with that, you cannot have too much ego and pride as well. Like, if you keep thinking that everything's all about you and your way, and if this person doesn't do what you say, then you get mad, and then you, I don't know, do stupid shit. I don't know what you do, but it's not about you anymore. Love is not something that you can be selfish for yourself. Love is not something that you'll have too much ego and pride. It's not all about you and what you want only. The world does not revolve around you. And if you cannot be selfless, you cannot give, then you shouldn't be in a relationship in the first place. You should not, because you're hurting yourself and you're hurting the other person. So I suggest, in order for you to say I do to the person that you're about to marry to, you have to ask yourself, what is the true meaning of love? What is your definition of love? And again, when you love someone, you don't want to intentionally hurt that person. You don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize you guys' relationship, because you have to think about yourself. If this person did the same thing to me, how would I feel? How would I react? I wouldn't like it either. You also have to put yourself in that person's shoes as well too. Understand that person. You both have to do the same thing, and if one is doing more than the other, that's going to be a problem. There's just no point of saying I do in the first place then, or to even create or start that relationship in the first place. So that's the first thing that I would tell myself before I say I do. The second one would be, do I understand my role as a wife and as a mother? Vice versa. Do you understand your role as a husband and a father? And then the main question that, there was this video on TikTok that went around and people responded, and it was a video that said, who comes first in your life? Is it your husband, your parents, or kids? Now, if you say kids go first, you're wrong. If you say parents go first, you're wrong. The first person that comes first in your life is your partner, okay? When you get married to your partner, you're no longer living or doing things for your parents. And if your parents are going to be butthurt about it and they are too attached to you and they are in control of what you have to say or do in your life, you as a man and a woman need to step up and create the boundaries and let your parents know that they cannot do that or tell you what to do because you're already married. You have a partner, you created a life with another person, and your parents are no longer that people in your life anymore. And I get it, but at the end of the day, when you start involving your parents into your marriage, it's not going to work out. Trust me, I've been there, and it's going to lead to divorce, okay? Because if you don't want to get no divorce, you better start creating boundaries, okay? But back to that video and the response. It should be your partners first, your kids, and then your parents. And the reason why I say partners, because at the end of the day, during your dying days or the time when you're about to die and leave this earth, who is the person that's going to stick by your side? It's your partner, okay? When you get married, who are you fucking? Who are you creating life with? Your partner, okay? I know I'm getting deep, but it's the honest reality truth that, you're not fucking your parents, you're not fucking anybody but your partner. You guys are procreating new life with each other, okay? And when shit goes down and when you need somebody there through thick and thin, through sickness and health, who's gonna be there? Your partner. The way that you guys can raise your kids is if you guys put each other's first. That's why I have to ask myself, do I know my role as a wife? And my question is, of course I do. I know what it takes to be a wife. And if you are still struggling to understand what your role is as a wife and as a husband, again, like I was mentioning, there's free resources online that you can search, that you can watch. There's videos, there's books that you can find. If you want to find a therapist or a counselor for that, go right ahead. But like I said, there's free resources that you can use to understand your role as a wife and also as a mother too. But first, you have to be a wife. Same with the guys. You have to be a husband first. Now, if you guys can't put yourself in that role first, there's just going to be issues. How are you guys able to take care of the kids? Like, for example, if your husband decides to not help you, then what makes you think that your wife will want to do things for you as a husband? She's not wanting to do that. It's because you're not doing what you need to do as a husband to help her take care of the kids. When both of you guys are feeding into each other and making sure that both of you guys are okay, then you will want to become a better father or mother to your kids. If one is doing more than the other and the other person just have no clue what to do whatsoever because they don't want to make the effort to be a husband or a wife, then that's going to affect how you become a father or a mother. If you guys are exchanging energy, and if one goes down, the other one goes down as well. Simple as that. I'm not going to elaborate more on that, but it's really simple. Again, I've never had experience being a mother, but I know enough to know what it takes to be a mother. And the only way that I can be a good mother to my kids is if my husband is there to also support me and to help me. I'm not going to be the one to do everything. I'm not going to be the one to cook or clean, plan our life, work while he's just working and that's it. No. So he needs to step up as my husband first and also as a father. That way we both can work as a team to take care of our kids. So of course your partner comes first and then your kids, and then last would be your parents. And I get that your parents are old and they need help and all that stuff. I get it, but when the time comes, then it'll be time to help them. But in the meantime, if your parents are still capable of doing things on their own, you don't need to worry about what they got going on. They don't need to worry about what you got going on. Again, you're not married to your parents. You've decided to be in covenant with your partner, not with your parents. And if your parents are so stupid, they don't know that shit, and they think that, oh, you got married to this woman and she's supposed to take care of everybody up. No, like, cut that shit off. Parents, you need to sit your ass down and quit acting like you're married to your sons, or quit acting like you're married to your daughters. Because if that's the case, then do not tell your kids to get married or find somebody and get married, because they're not going to live their life for you. And I get it, culture plays in a role in it too, but let me tell you guys, when you guys are able to break the cultural barriers and the boundaries and have your boundaries, then you will have no problem, leaving your parents and let them do whatever they need to do. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself as a husband and a wife. And then afterwards, focus on being the best father or mother to your kids. Okay. And with that, like I mentioned, you have to draw your boundaries from your families. You have to draw your boundaries from your friends. Now, I get that your friends are there to have a good time. I'm not saying cutting off your friends. No, I'm not saying that. But if you and your partners are not okay in your life, and yet you'd rather go out and spend time with your friends, that's an issue right there. Make sure that your own family is good before you can invite or be a part of other people's life. Like, for example, hanging out with your friends. If you know you have plans on a Saturday night and your friends want to go out and they invited you, which people are you going to go hang out with? Is it your wife's stuff that's going on, or your friends? And if you choose your friend, you're dumb as fuck, okay? Like, men in general, okay? My thing is that if you and your partner already have plans already and it's set on a Saturday, okay, and then somehow your friends or other family members tells you that, oh, we got this going on, can we do this? You as a man need to tell them no. Same with the woman too. You guys have to let your family and friends know that we can't do this because we got this going on already first come first serve, right? And if you're not able to say no to your family and your friends of going out, then you have a problem. You're not ready to get married, because you got to make sure that you and your partner's plans are important, and that you're not just ruining your plans just to hang out with your friends just because they're more fun. I wouldn't recommend that. And if somehow you guys don't have any plans and they started to invite you, cool, go ahead and make plans with your friends. But again, you also have to have your boundaries as well too. You can't stay late. You can't get drunk and then somehow drive home and get busted for a DWI. Like, come on, you gotta be responsible. What I forgot to tell you guys in the beginning is that marriage is not a game. It's not something that you can just plan to break off and then come back again. It's not like how you are when you're dating. When you're dating, yeah, you can break off and then come back again and break off and do all that shit again. But if you were to do that when you're married, you're not ready to get married at all. You just stop that, okay? That's why I said that these are the things that I would tell myself and I would reflect on to see if I'm ready to get married. And for those who are listening, men and women, it doesn't matter who, if you were to ask yourself these questions, do you think you're ready to get married? And like I mentioned, if you're not willing to draw boundaries from your families, you're not ready to draw boundaries from friends. And I'm not saying cutting them off for the rest of your life. No, I'm talking about just have boundaries. And that's something that we need to stress a lot more now that we're in a new generation where we're all about mental health, spirituality, and all stuff, breaking generational curses. Like, let's start drawing boundaries and telling people no. And it's a good no. It's not like you don't want to spend time with them. It's just that when you have your own personal life that you have to take care of, you got to make sure that you're okay first, and then have other people be part of your life. And if you're not okay, and if your partner's not okay, your own little family's not okay, then just don't bother going out with families or friends. Just don't. So I will end with that. The third one would be, how's my mental, spiritual, and physical health? How am I working on myself to improve on a daily basis? Am I just going out drinking every weekend just to avoid what I have going on in my life? Am I dating multiple people just to avoid going through my heartbreaks? Like, what am I actually doing on a daily basis to improve myself mentally? Am I depressed? Am I thinking about suicidal? Do I have low self-esteem? What can I do to not be depressed? What can I do to uplift myself? Do I need to see a counselor? Do I need to have a mentor that I can talk to? Like, what are you actually doing for yourself? Do you actually want to do anything to improve yourself? You have to ask yourself that question. I do believe that if you don't work on your mental health, how can you love your partner in return? I also believe that men should be the one to lead the relationship. And if his mental state is not good, and if he doesn't love himself, he doesn't know his worth, he doesn't know that he's capable of loving himself, then how is he able to love his wife? And, you know, you can agree or disagree with me on that, but I do believe men should lead the relationship, and the woman should follow after him. And I say that it's because I've seen it with my own eyes, okay? If, ladies, listen up, okay? If you were the one to lead the relationship in the beginning of it, chances are you're going to be the one to lead the entire relationship from beginning to end. And I'm telling you, it's really stressful. It's very exhausting. That's what I've learned right now after divorce, is that in order for me to get into my next relationship, I want him to lead. If he's not calling me, or if he doesn't express interest based on his action that he wants to get to know me, then I'm not going to do anything. I'm not saying that I'm the princess or queen. I ain't gonna do shit. I know I can't do shit, but a man gotta prove himself. And if he's not willing to show me that he can lead me, then I just don't have no respect for him. I just see him as a little boy who doesn't know what he wants, and he's just waiting for me to do everything. I'm not gonna do everything. I'll be there to support and help whenever he needs the help, but to do everything, no, I don't think so. Trust me, okay, you guys, I've learned it the hard way, okay? Now that I am, like I said, single and relearning about everything, I see it a whole lot different than how I seen it in the past. And I do, like I said, I do believe that if a man doesn't know how to love himself, if he doesn't take care of his mental mind and improve himself and love himself, how is he going to love me? How is he going to take care of his family? And you know, it's okay if he doesn't have his shit together. It's okay if let's say one day he has a mental breakdown and he needs help, or he needs my help. He needs to communicate with me on that, and I'll do what I can to jump on it and take over his spot for a short period of time. But he needs to come back and take his role as my husband. Same with spirituality. Depending on what you believe in, it doesn't matter if you believe in God, you go to church, you read the Bible, or you're spiritual, or if you believe in shamanism, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever religion you believe in. Are you also working at that? Are you connecting yourself with God? Are you connecting yourself with the universe, spirituality, whatever you believe in? Are you improving yourself in that area? If you're the type of person that believe in spirits, believe in God, believe in the universe, manifestation, all that stuff, are you improving on that as well? And I do believe that, you know, spirituality, it also connects yourself within yourself as well. And it does help you see the better version of you as well. So if you're not reading your Bible on a daily, if you're not going to church, or if you're not watching any videos that's helping you spiritually, then that also affects your relationship with your partner as well too. Or if you're with someone who doesn't really believe in the same religion or beliefs that you believe in, that it can be a little bit hard for you to, you know, like express to each other about what's going on with your spiritual health. And it's really hard to just have that similar belief. So make sure that your spirituality is where you want it to be, or any religion that you believe in is where you want it to be. Another thing would be physical health. Like, are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you taking care of yourself inside and out? Basically, how's your mental, spiritual, physical health? How are you on the inside and out? And if you're just eating whatever food that you can get, and you're not working out, and you are gaining a whole bunch of pounds, it's not going to be healthy in the long run. Because sooner or later, when you get older, you're going to have some health problems. If you're not doing anything to live a healthier lifestyle, then you should stop and think before you say I do. Think before you get married. And you have to value yourself. You have to value life. And I get that there's so much thing that goes on in our life to where we don't know how to incorporate workouts or eating healthy because we don't have that knowledge. But then again, I always mention it all the time. There's free resources online. And if you want to change your life to become better, then that's up to you if you want to make that change. When you eat healthy, when you work out, you feel great, you have a positive mindset, then that energy is also affected to your partner as well too. So that's the third part. The fourth and last part that I would tell myself before I say I do is, can I be able to have my life and add another person in it as well? So I do believe that just because you're married, that doesn't mean that you end your own personal life. I have to learn it the hard way, and I mentioned it in my previous episode about how in my Hmong culture, our parents ingrained in us Hmong women to go get educated. You grow up, get educated, learn how to cook it clean, serve your husband, do everything right, have sex with him, and then if you do all of that, then he's not going to leave you. He's not going to cheat on you, but you guys, that's a lie. And I kind of wish that our Hmong parents would teach us that, you know, we also matter as well, that we have our worth as well. We can't just settle with any guy just because that's what we're supposed to do. Now that I know a lot better and that I am able to create that boundary away from my Hmong culture, is that even though I'm married to my husband, I still want to have my own life. I still want to work. I still want to make my own money. I still want to do things that I normally would do. And then you have to ask yourself too, when you do get married, is this person also adding to your life, or are they taking away your life? Are they just letting you be your old self for the rest of your life? Are they actually helping you grow as a person? I do believe that you don't stop growing until you die. Anyone says that, well, this is how I am, I'm not going to change, I'm too old to change, then it shows me and it tells me that they're not willing to change for the better. Not to change for me, but to change for the better for the both of us, for our life. And if that's the case, then you should rethink before you say I do. And I had to tell myself that too. It's like, if I'm living my life right now, I'm single, no kids, I can do whatever I want to do. You know, I make money and I can provide for myself. If I meet somebody who can add to my life, like no heartache, he's not asking me for money, he's not asking me to borrow my car, or he's not spending over at my house 24/7 and living with me when he doesn't have his name on the lease. It's like, dude, like, I'm just taking care of a hobo. You know what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself, if you're with this person and they're not adding any value to your life, and your life is good already, you love your life right now, if this person is not adding any good in your life, then you should think about it before you say I do. You should think about it before you actually be exclusive in this relationship. Because like I keep telling you guys, marriage is not a joke. You know, and if you know how he is already from the beginning, if he is willing to change, kudos for that, okay? But majority of the time, let me tell you women, is that men, they do not change at all. And you guys hear this saying, if he wanted to, he would. And that's true. If he wanted to keep you, if he wanted this good life with you, then he would change for the better for himself to have this life with you. And it's not your fault if, you know, you're hoping that he'll change, he'll become this person that you hope for him, you idolize that he will become. But you have to understand, woman, is that men, they will not change unless they want to change. And sad to say that as much as you hope for them to change, you see good in them, they don't see that. And that's something that I wish a lot of people would tell us women, or us Hmong women. If we knew that from the beginning, we would have known our worth and we wouldn't have stick around for this long. Sad to say, but it is what it is. Yeah, I just wish that if you found someone who can, you know, add a little bit more to your life, kind of like be the one to outbeat your life in a way. Because if your life is good the way that you like it, and if they are able to make it even better, that's what I want. I do have to say a lot of it has to go back to how our parents taught us, what culture has taught us as well, what society has taught us as well. Being in this point in time in our life and knowing that there's a lot of people are talking about mental health and spirituality and physical health and all that stuff. We got to be active on that. We got to open our mind, open our eyes to wanting to do more for ourselves and not just live a life based on what people have already portrayed it to be. And so with that, these are the 4 things that I would tell myself. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of things that would help you to realize what to do or what to say, what to think about before you actually get married. And for me, like I said from the beginning, I understand the true meaning of love and what I need to do in order to love my next man. I understand my role as a wife and as a mother. I will do what I can to please my husband and take care of my kids. But at the same time, my husband also needs to know his role as a husband and as a father. And we both need to understand how to draw boundaries from friends and family. And of course, you want to be with someone who has their mental, spiritual, and physical health on track. And that they know themselves, they know what they want, they know what they desire, they have purpose in their life. More importantly, for the men to be a man and lead. And, men will hate me for saying this, but it's the honest truth. And I do believe that the reason why divorces are happening now is because men are not acting straight. They're not acting right. Sometimes it could be the woman too, but majority of the time, a man, the way that he treats his woman is how she's going to feel and treat him in return. That's just how I see it, And us women, we are the type of species that will love you and will give everything. But the moment when our men disrespect us, don't care for us, don't love us, we feel so little. We feel like, why should I do so much for this man when he doesn't do anything for me? And we crave for love from a man. But as women need to understand that we don't need a man to love us. We can love ourselves. We can find somebody else that will love us more. And again, I can go so much in detail in this, but I don't want this episode to be super long. But I will always repeat myself over and over again on other episodes so that it could be ingrained in your head, okay? But yes, and then of course, lastly, I also want to be able to find somebody that can add to my life. Not like add as in like, financial or he can do things for me or like he can drop everything for my sake. No, it's more like I have my own life, he has his own life. Are we able to come together to be in a partnership, to also have our personal life and also have our life together? And that he understands that, I need my space. I understand that he needs his space. I understand that we don't need to argue all the time. We can agree or disagree. We don't have to shout or yell at each other. We don't need to make each other jealous or be envious or like I mentioned, the 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4-8. Do you want that person to be all of that? Because I do, because I want to be that kind of person. And I also want my future husband to be like that as well. So if you guys are able to have your own individual life and also come together as one and have your life together, even better. But that is all that I have for you guys. I know I've been like blabbering here and there and all that stuff, but like I said, this is the year for love in the air. People are getting cuffed up, except for me, unfortunately. And people are getting married, and I am happy for those who are finally getting married. And like I said, marriage is not easy. It's a lot different from dating. People say, oh, it's the same, but no, not really. When you're married, there's more responsibility. A lot of people are going to test you. Your partner's going to test you. Your family's going to test you. Your friends going to test you. Your kids are going to test you. Everybody around you is going to test you. And then when they all test you, are you able to come back together and figure shit out together, or is that going to break you guys? Because my experience, a lot of people tested us, and in the end, Lost Boy, he just couldn't do it, and so I had to do what I had to do to end our relationship, because I was not willing to go through baby mama drama and lost parents, step parents drama. Like, I'm not willing to go through that, because I know what I'm capable of doing, what I cannot stand. Him, on the other hand, I don't think so. Again, I can go into a different episode on understanding yourself as an individual. It could be man or female. Again, I don't know much about male, but I learned enough from watching videos of men who are married and men who've experienced it, and I completely understand and agree with what they have to say. So if you guys want me to do a different episode on understanding a man or understanding yourself as a woman, I would definitely do that, because I do feel that the more that we know about ourselves, what we want and don't want, the more we will know that it's okay to walk away in a relationship. Although we love this person so much and we put so much time and effort and years into the relationship, it's okay to walk away and start fresh. And we are afraid to start new. And I was like that too. Trust me, I was like that too. But when you actually do it, after that, throughout the whole years, you'll look back and you tell yourself it was worth it. Why didn't I do this sooner? And again, you will only know your worth if you actually am put into that situation. But for those who are listening, take whatever is good for you, whatever information that I've given to you, take whatever resonate for you, and whatever doesn't resonate, just throw it out in the other ear, okay? But I just want everybody to be successful in whatever relationship they are in. I just want you to be self-aware, love yourself first before you can love anyone. Work on yourself. Don't be afraid to be alone. Marriage is like one of the happiest moment of my life. And I was so happy when I was married. And although it didn't work this time, I am very hopeful for the next one. If you went through marriage and you got divorced, I feel you, but don't get discouraged. I'm very optimistic about it, okay? Because I believe that everyone is love. Everyone deserves love. And if it didn't happen the first time, learn from it. Don't get mad and bitter about it, but learn from it. Learn from your mistake. Learn from your other partner's mistake. And then try again. Do better. And know those red and green flags as well too. But at the end of the day, just know yourself. Know that you are worth more to walk away, because you deserve it. You deserve the whole world. And yeah, that is all that I have to say about this episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And again, congrats to anyone who is getting married. And I hope all the best for anyone who is getting married. And that's it. It's not easy. It's not easy, but as long as you both are willing to work things out, you guys truly love each other, then things will be perfectly fine. But on that note, thank you so much for joining me and for stopping by and listening to my episode. I know it's been long since I've done it, but I have a lot of topics that I want to cover as well too. So thank you for your patience. And I do have a big, not a project, but something new that I want to incorporate into my podcast, which I will let you guys know on a later episode. But stay tuned for that. But other than that, like I said, I thank everyone for always supporting me and tuning in and listening to my episode since day one. And I appreciate you guys to continue to listen to me. And if there's any topics you guys want me to talk about, let me know by just DMing me, Facebook, my email, all that good stuff. I don't usually promote myself because I'm really bad at that. Like, I just rather have I just rather have people just find me, But if you guys want to follow me, you guys can follow me at yours truly on my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube. And if you guys want to listen to my podcast, you guys can listen to it through Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as well too. So on my TikTok, I do a lot more of like home cooked meals, just because I love to eat, and as a single woman, you you just eat whatever, I guess. You just eat whatever, and I just want to show you guys what I normally eat on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And also I do want to incorporate more of like talking about like relationship and divorce and being single and all that stuff and life lesson and all that like crazy stuff. But yes, you guys can always follow me on any of those social media. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, I will see you guys or hear from you guys on the next episode. Bye.